Hello gang, we're in for a bit of a test session today. What we have is 2 cylinders. This is for a 620 that I just ported up, and it is for Ray. I believe that's your name. Sorry. Anyways, this one's for Ray, and this is a 590. This is a 620p, this is 590, and they've got pretty much identical numbers except for the exhaust. So this right here, Ray paid me to port this, and so he gets my standard port job. This right here is what's going on, and it is 101.6 on the exhaust. I aim for 102, but missed it a little bit by 0.4. No big deal. 101.6 on the exhaust, 123 on the transfers, and 81 on the intake. The intake was gotten just by simply machining the base. We've got 21,000 squish, and I smooth over that bottom of your intake port right there. Usually there's a little burr there. I just smooth that over. So 81 on the intake, 123 on the transfers, 101.6 on the exhaust. 590, same numbers pretty much exactly. 80.5 on the intake. Did the same thing. The only thing I did is if it has that little burr right there, I take it off. I don't think this one had a burr though. I can't remember exactly, but I don't think it did. But 122 on the transfers. So it's 1 degree different on the transfers, but I mean, it's hard to get them perfect. And the exhaust, I went to 97 on the exhaust. So we've got a solid almost 5 degrees difference on the exhaust height between the 620 and the 590. So we're going to see if this 590 is going to be able to perform, if it's going to lose torque, whatever. I personally don't think it's going to lose any torque whatsoever, because these things have a really, really long stroke. And that really long stroke is, you can go much higher on the exhaust. There's only a certain amount of time that you have before that explosion pretty much loses all of its power, and so I think it's going to be good. So we're going to put this together and try it, and we have a stocker that we will actually run against both of these to see how much better they are. The stocker is a stock 590. It's not a stock 620. But a lot of people ask, should I port the 590 or just get a 620? Well, it's been my experience that the 590 ported is just as good as a 620. Yeah, there might be a second difference in a 20-second cut, okay? But, I mean, that's minuscule. I mean, really, it's tiny. Is it worth buying the 620 for? Well, if you want the other things that the 620 has, such as a spur, not a spur sprocket, it has a rim sprocket set up on the 620. The 590 has a spur sprocket. The 620 also has a metal clutch cover, whereas the 590 has a plastic clutch cover. The 620 also has captured bar nuts. I am almost 100% positive of. I could be wrong on that. But anyways, and the 620 also has an aluminum top handle. So the 620 has benefits over the 590. But as far as whenever you're porting them, power benefits, I don't know. I've even done tests with the 590 in adding the coil off of a 620 and adding the carburetor off of a 620. And the carburetor did make a little bit of a difference. It made it a little bit of a difference. It basically made it exactly the same as the 620, but the coil didn't make any difference whatsoever. So, anyways, it's hard to quantify this and everything, because we're talking about such minuscule gains. Is it worth it to do the 620 versus the 590? That's your call. not mine, you know. But I get that question a lot. And I understand it. People want to know, but they're so similar that basically, if you're wanting the highest performance you can possibly have, and you're okay with spending the extra couple $100, yeah, get the 620, you know. But if you already have a 590, instead of spending, you know, like one guy on Facebook was just recently saying, you know, should he sell his 590 and get a 620? Nah, just get the 590 ported. They respond excellent. But that's my opinion. You can have yours. And let's get to the testing. I'm going to put these saws back together, and then next time you'll see this, it'll be in the wood.
Okay, gang, what we got here is a completely stock Echo 590, 24-inch bar and chain. The bar is, the chain is the factory chain that comes on these. What is it? The Oregon LGX. It is, I don't know if it's freshly sharpened, but I just cut with it. It cuts okay, you know, but we'll use the same bar and chain for all three saws. So we'll get our results. I'm going to do a couple cuts through this to give it a warm up, because these things like to be warmed up, and then we'll go at it. Not too shabby for a completely stock 60cc saw. I mean, that's a lot of oak to get through. Okay, so we got the 620 here. It's acting a little funny. I might have to go back in there. It's acting like it's got a air leak. So anyways, I think I got it pretty well tuned up. We're going to test it. See? See, I can't tell if it's got an air leak or if I can't get it tuned right. Honestly, I just don't know. But I ain't gonna take any chances. I'm gonna take it back apart or well, I'll check for an air leak. Nah, I'll just take it back apart. I used Hylamar on the base. I'll take it back apart and use Durco. Put it back together. See how that does. But it's acting like it's loading up. Right? Like I've got too much on the low side. Let's see where the low is actually at. 1, 2, well, I got 2 full turns on the low side. Let's do 1.5. See where that gets us. See, if you got too much on the low side, it'll load up while it's idling. See, now that's like it ain't enough. See, I gave it some more, and it likes it. Yeah, something ain't right. I'm gonna go back into it. Son of a bitch. And I can't test the 590. This thing will fire up. But every time I put a bar and chain on there, it won't pull the chain. And I've been back and forth with all kinds of stuff. And what I've settled into is I believe the crank is walking. Yep, I think the crank keeps walking to the PTO side, which is pushing your clutch and your clutch drum out further. And every time I tighten down the bar on it, it seizes it up. And now I beat it and knocked it back in, right? And same thing. Now it's, well, that's because the clutch ain't tight. Yeah. There we go. But yeah, I think the crank is walking on this 590 to the PTO side. And like I said, I beat it back in with a hammer. And as soon as I tried to do anything with it, it just walked right back out. So this cylinder is going to have to go on a different chassis. And this is just going to be a parts chassis. But yeah, hell of a day here on the ranch. Can't get anything to run right. Ray, I don't know what's going on with this 620 yet. So it's going to take me a little bit longer, buddy. Sorry. I'm going to have to break into it and try and find a leak if it's got one. I mean, there's only one place it could be, and that's the base. Pretty much, you know, I mean, it has to be the base gasket because it's a nearly brand new saw. And so that's why I'm not real quick running. I know a lot of you guys wonder why the hell I don't just spray everything down with brake clean. Brake clean is hard on your paint. I don't like using it, okay? So this is a brand new pretty saw. I don't want to spray brake clean all over it. So, and knowing what I've done to it, what it is and what I've done to it, it's got to be leaking at the base, you know, if it's got an air leak, and it sure does seem like it has an air leak. It really does. So we just got to figure out what that is. Son of a bitch.